This is Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance in San Diego County. Today we are joined by Dan McAllister. He is the treasurer tax collector of San Diego County, but what he's telling us applies essentially for the entire state. So let's start with your tax collector hat.
Yes.
'Tis the season.
Tis the season.
Property taxes are due. We
are.
just passed the February 1st deadline, but is it really a deadline?
Well, it is in effect.
Okay.
The tax collector season, we call it one of our seasons of giving.
Right.
Starts on February
Right.
1st and ends on April 10th.
Okay.
Most people focus on April 10th
Yes.
because it's the final due date the taxes are due. What we're trying to do is encourage more people to pay early so
Right.
they will avoid late penalties or mistakes.
And I have to tell you, and I'm going to admit something right here and now, I sent in my tax bill, this is a few years back, I think it was maybe April 12th, and the tax collector sent back a proof that it was stamped April 12th and I had a penalty owed. And so they're going to look at that postmark.
They are,
Because
indeed.
it's really the postmark that matters. Is that right?
It is in many respects, but with most people pay now electronically.
Right.
Over 50% of all payments come into us now via the internet.
But does San Diego charge for that?
No,
'cause
actually,
some counties do.
It's a misnomer. They do charge, we do charge, but it's really the charge of the credit card companies if you charge your taxes by credit card. If you pay and use something called ePay, it's
Okay.
free.
This is great advice. I need to learn this myself because I had wanted to pay my property taxes, but it seemed like there was a serious bump in terms of payment if I used a credit card. But you're saying it's almost like a wire transfer.
If you use a credit card, 2.19% is the penalty
Right.
or the fee
I hear you.
for using that credit card. And that's why well under 3% now only of our payers pay by credit card.
Are you aware if other counties in the state allow for ePay, you call it? Is it pretty
Yes.
standard?
Many counties have ePay, some charge. We do not. And that
Okay.
was part of what we negotiated on behalf of the taxpayers.
So let's say it's April 11th and you realize, "Oh, I didn't pay my property taxes." It happens, but what happens?
Well, there's forgiveness for a price. And
Okay.
in essence, it's called a late fee.
Okay.
And immediately upon midnight of that date, the 10th, just right after the 10th, a 10% penalty will kick in. So 10% of whatever payment is due
Right.
at that juncture will be charged in addition to the payment.
Okay.
And that could add up.
But how
because-
long? 10% immediately, but then does it increase after a month or 3 months or 6?
Just say someone does not pay in December or in April,
Okay.
and they let it go until April, May,
Right.
June, and at the end of June, then we see a new penalty kick in on July 1st,
I see.
which is 1.5% per month or 18% per year.
That's pricey.
In addition to the 10%.
That's pricey.
So by the end of a year and a half, roughly, we could be up to about 28% in terms of a penalty. And it's that onerous penalty
Right.
which keeps people honest and makes people pay on time.
Now, if someone called, I don't know if it would be your office or some office, you'll explain on April 1st.
Sure.
So they're ahead of the deadline and they
Yes.
say, look, is there a payment plan? I just don't have all the money. Is that a possibility?
No.
It's not.
The process is that if people are delinquent and have not paid their taxes and have fallen into what's called default,
Right.
then we have the ability to work on some sort of plan to get those back taxes paid, provided they keep current with the current taxes due. So
Okay.
it's a double burden to pay the back taxes and the current taxes due. So we encourage people to pay on time.
But that's nothing that you could change on your own, I presume. I mean, this
No.
is a state law.
It's a state law.
And so if we wanted to see payment plan possibilities, we can't go to your office. We
Well,
would need legislation to allow it.
No, actually, the Revenue and Tax Code allows us to grant it, but it's after the fact. And so because our payments have been coming in at 99.3%, in the last 2 years.
Oh, is that true?
Of all payments that are due on time, we have very few in that late
Really?
category. We are one of the best 3 in the state of California out of 58 counties.
What about during the recession? What was the number? What were the numbers back then?
Well, I think the numbers dipped. Our collection rates dipped down to about 96, 95.5%.
phenomenal.
Still really good,
Yeah.
no question. But San Diegans are good about paying what they owe and paying it on time.
I want to talk about the other hat that you wear, and that's as treasurer.
Yes.
I didn't realize that the treasurer oversees a huge investment portfolio.
Yes.
Some of that is statutory that you are required to oversee.
That's correct.
Who are you required to oversee in terms of their investments?
We are required to oversee the investments of all 42 public school districts
Okay.
in San Diego County, all 5 community college districts in San Diego County, a number of other public agencies in San Diego County, and then we have what are called voluntary participants.
Okay.
These could be the Airport Authority, the Port District, SANDAG, the Transportation Planning Agency, MTS, the Metropolitan Transit System. Those are voluntary, and when they issue bonds for projects and programs that they do, they need a place to safekeep those monies. The county provides that place. And last year, really, out of the 210 different public agencies we manage money for, we managed about $10.5 billion in the portfolio.
That's a big chunk of change.
Significant amount of money.
And so you as treasurer overseeing the portfolio, making investment decisions?
That's correct. Every day we have a team, actually a separate team that works within the Treasurer Tax Collector's office. They arrive very early like the market does.
Right.
They're there when the market opens, they're there after the market closes, and they make sure that we invest wisely so as to not place in jeopardy any of the monies that we invest. Our mission is to preserve principal and not lose money.
Do you have statutory restrictions in terms of you?
We do, and this emanated from the 1994 bankruptcy in Orange County, where there was really kind of a hodgepodge of philosophies on how to manage things. And after that, new rules went into effect that called for investment policy statements for each county out of the 58. Every county has one, and it says you will not manage for certain things, you will manage for certain other things. And in this case, it says you can't manage anything other than fixed income instruments. And these are bonds, basically.
So no stocks.
Or we don't do stocks, we don't do REITs, we don't do equities of any kind. We only do fixed income, and we only invest out to about 5 years or under.
Why?
Well, one reason is that if we place, say, the wrong bet, and we decided that interest rates weren't going to go up, and they did go up, and we had invested a lot longer, we might be stuck and left holding the bag. And that wouldn't be fair to the agencies.
So what type of returns do you see?
Very minimal, very minimal.
But that's
they're
by
positive.
design?
They're positive, yes. It's designed not to lose money.
Right.
To preserve money, preserve the assets of the districts and the agencies, so that when they go to that pool for the money to do the projects that they originally got the money for, the money will be there.
It's just too much of a risk,
That's
like
right.
you said.
That's right.
This is interesting. I know every year you have seminars for public agencies. When you come back, let's talk about those seminars. There are on investments, fraud, a big issue, debt.
Big issue.
Fascinating stuff for nerds like me, and hopefully our audience as well.
Well, it is, and I'll do that. That'd be fun.
His name is Dan McAllister. He is the San Diego County Treasurer Tax Collector. My name is Brad Pomerance. Don't forget to pay your property taxes. The deadline's coming up April 10th, and you're watching Local Edition.
Thank you.